Hi, I'm Char.
And I'm Helen. We'd like to introduce you to our exhibition at the Wehrle Gallery at Ohio Dominican University. We're artists and good friends and have traveled extensively together, creating art as we go. The work that we're going to talk about is from our trip to Ecuador in 2019. Here we are, installing the exhibition.
We flew into Ecuador with a group of people and landed in Quito, the capital of Ecuador. From Quito, we traveled deep into the Amazon to a reserve along a tributary of the Amazon River. The Amazon River is the world's largest river. It is the size of the United States and covers 40% of the South American continent, over 4,000 miles. The reserve, named Amazon Reserve for Peace, is owned by a woman who fights illegal oil drilling and houses a clinic for the indigenous communities. These are photos documenting oil spills in the tributaries of the Amazon River.
From the reserve, we traveled by canoe to visit the Kofan, an indigenous community.
Tree just fell on across the river and we're clearing it so we can slide by underneath. Oh, it's the Amazon limbo.
We were shown and participated in cooking yuca, which is a staple in the jungle. The tubers are ready to harvest between 6 and 9 months. When harvested, one root is planted nearby to be harvested later. The tubers are made into a flour and then bread that is cooked on a hot fire.
What do you think it tasted like?
Well, for me, it kind of tasted like a corn tortilla.
The Amazon rainforest is home to 40,000 plant species, 1,300 bird species, 3,000 types of fish, and 2.5 million different insects, as well as 430 species of mammals. The cacao tree is native to the Amazon basin. The cacao bean is used to make cocoa and chocolate. Cocoa production is likely to be affected in various ways by the effects of global warming. Logging in the Amazon forest has serious impacts on forest health and biodiversity. It changes forest composition by removing valuable trees like mahogany. Here is a photo of the spirit tree. It has long been used by the elder shaman Aurelio as a place to seek answers. The tree is a kapok tree, and it also provides a boundary marker because it is so large.
So when I was there, I photographed oil refineries, deforestation, and power lines while traveling through the Andes. I also photographed the reserve and the children that came to the clinic on the reserve. I saw firsthand the fragile environment of the Amazon rainforest and wanted to make images that spoke about that and followed up with research on my return. In 1964, oil drilling operations began to take place in previously roadless areas by Texaco. Between the years 1964 and 1992, the Texaco Corporation, and years later, Petro-Ecuador, carried out an intensive oil operations in the northeastern region of the Ecuadorian Amazon. The extraction of the oil is responsible for the deforestation, degradation, and environmental devastation of the lands across the globe. The oil extraction process results in the release of toxic drilling byproducts into the local rivers, while broken pipelines and leakage result in the persistent oil spillage. In making these images, I merged the industry pictures with the images of the indigenous children. Currently, Ecuador is trapped in a cycle of debt and dependency from years of corruption that has squandered billions of dollars in high-interest loans to China. The country is reeling from years of corruption and graft. 317 former government officials have been implicated in the scandal so far. The Coca-Cola Sinclair hydroelectric dam that was financed and built by China was supposed to solve Ecuador's energy needs and help lift the small South American country out of poverty. The price tag for this Chinese loans are currently around $19 billion, not only for this dam, but also for bridges, highways, irrigation, schools, and health clinics. The government is scrambling to pay for the loan. Today, the dam typically runs at half capacity. Experts say that given its design and the cycle of wet and dry seasons in Ecuador, it is only able to generate the full amount of electricity for a few hours a day, 6 months out of the year. A recent examination of the structure found 7,648 cracks in the dam due to low-grade stainless steel and poor welding work. It sits in the shadow of an active volcano, and geologists say that an earthquake could wipe everything away. A study of the environmental damage caused by the building of the dam includes deforestation, improper waste removal, and the destruction of the environment in the surrounding national park and natural reserve. To settle the bill for the dam, China gets to keep 80% of Ecuador's most valuable export, oil, because many of the contracts are paid in petroleum, not dollars. In fact, China gets the oil at a discount, then sells it for an additional profit. Ecuador's drilling for oil to give to China in repayment for the loans is pushing deeper and deeper into the rainforest. Drilling is currently taking place in Yasuni National Park. The park is one of the most biodiverse areas of the world. It is thought that there are more species of plants, animals, and insects than anywhere else on the earth. The damage caused by drilling for oil is not repairable. So the layers of my work represent the many ways the environment and humanity overlap and are intertwined. With this work, I hope to foster increased awareness of the Amazon rainforest and its fragile environment. I focused on indigenous children of the rainforest because they are impacted most of all. This work is entitled Invasive, and it's estimated that approximately 59% of the primary rainforest has been destroyed during the last 30 years. Indigenous mortality rates in the Amazon coincide with the oil extraction and deforestation, both in time and percentage of loss. The process for these leaves is chlorophyll printing. Chlorophyll printing is an alternative photographic process where photographic images are developed on natural leaves through the action of photosynthesis. This organic technique does not use chemicals, since the photographs are exposed directly to the sunlight on plants or tree leaves.
This is the Oran pendula, or weaver bird, a member of the blackbird family, found in tropical forests. The call of the male can be heard throughout the rainforest. They are known for their hanging nests, which can be 2 meters in length, in colonies of dozens or even hundreds. Each nest is built and occupied by a single female and 1 or 2 eggs. As a weaver, I was immediately attracted to the structure and materials used. Many indigenous people have been living in harmony with the rainforest for thousands of years, depending on it for their food, shelter, and medicines. As land is grabbed or stolen from indigenous people, we lose the primary stewards of the land. We lose the knowledge of plants and animals that they have passed down through generations. We may be robbing ourselves of medicines and cures, not to mention the spiritualism and beauty that reside in the Amazon rainforest. With these things in mind, I began thinking of the weaver birds as a metaphor for the fragility and loss of the rainforest. In the first sculpture, the bottom is compromised, with the insides leaking out. This represents the loss of Ecuadorian indigenous culture as evidenced through the colors, which are the colors of the typical dress of these people. I then began working on a large installation piece which exemplifies the fragile nature of the environment. The hanging nests are delicate with tears and weakened areas, lacking the strength to support life. The nests hang from detached branches mounted in the gallery. The branches themselves are a ghost-like representation of the loss of the trees. Tagua nuts from a particular palm tree in the Amazon rainforest are also known as vegetable ivory. The nut looks, feels, and can be carved like ivory and provides an ecologically sound alternative to this destructive ivory trade. The solid nut is contrasted with the delicacy of the kozo fiber, again referencing the fragile balance of our environment. The pod-shaped weavings are iconic to my work and represent both wombs and shrouds, and in this case hold tagua seeds as a symbol of hope. In this sculpture, I wanted to not only highlight the tagua, but also bring into play the weaver bird nest. This piece refers to the delicacy of the environment. The title is derived from the actual pegs holding the woven pod shapes to the branches, again a metaphor for the precarious position of our environment. The veneration and worship of nature is an integral part of my work, with all things interconnected and nothing dominant over another. In recent news, we often hear of ecological disasters and the destruction, decay, or blatant disregard of the natural world. Each time I see or hear such a report, I feel as if I have been gut-punched. I often try to complete destroyed or broken pieces of bark, branches, or other detritus of nature with weaving, coiling, or stitching of some type. Here I have used coiling, a traditional basketry technique, to complete the shape of the branch which once was. These leaves are specimens of what we have lost. The outer shell is ceramic, a delicate yet surprisingly strong material, while the inside pods are spun woven paper. Each holds a shelled ginger seed, a medicinal herb used to treat and relieve illness, in this case, the deteriorating environment. Tattered is an assemblage of multiple handmade papers, fibers, and plant material, using sewing and mending techniques leading into our collaborative piece. Once we started working together, we began to incorporate photos of indigenous people. The delicacy of paper echoes the fragility of the rainforest. Tears in the fabric of the piece are contrasted with mended areas as visages of indigenous people emerge from the chaos of human destruction.
So thank you for watching.
Here's my website.
And here's mine.